Hi there, welcome to Alone Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Leo energy, and we're going to read it from a couple different perspectives because what could be going on in people's lives and how they're going to harness this energy will depend on what Leo energy they harness. And some people harness high vibe Leo energy. They're being authentic and loving and warm and encouraging and just and fair. So they're living their life differently than some other people. Some other people might operate more from their worldly egoic nature, and they're a little bit more concerned about themselves or their ego or their image or these things of the world they want to indulge in, or money and materialism. And other people are just more shadowy, trying to manipulate anyone to be in a relationship with them for their own selfish, greedy, prideful, or indulgent reasons. So listen to your intuition about where you're at in the story. Listen to your intuition about other people in your life. We all tap into Leo energy. If you're dealing with the Leo, you might find out you both harness high vibe, or you harness high vibe, they harness low vibe, whatever, you know. The truth sets us free. And if we're in a mismatched relationship, you know, we get in these different relationships with people in order to help us get clear about what our truth is and what our truth isn't. And, you know, sometimes it's these kind of real subtle differences, or at a core foundational level, do we have hope and faith and belief and love, trust other people, or have hope and faith and belief in ourselves, love ourselves, or do we not? So we're also going to get some Intuit, or not Oracle, but Intuit cards. We have two cards not showing themselves. The reason they came out is because of the belonging card. The cards not showing themselves are cleaning and breathing. So some people are doing that work within themselves, you know, kind of going through their life, realizing what they do need to get rid of, that it's time to let go of those ways of thinking or believing or acting, and it's time to move forward in life differently. You know, the breathing card kind of looks like someone who's kind of like appreciating life, you know, and, you know, kind of getting centered within themselves, because I think high vibe energy is kind of like we have all these different aspects of self, and either one aspect or the other, like, oh my God, my heart is running my life, or oh my gosh, my lust is running my life. We have to realize all these different aspects of ourself are important, and then we operate from the middle, a balanced position of not going out to the extreme edges anymore, because we've learned some hard lessons already about doing that. And we are operating from a more balanced nature, respecting my emotions are just as important as my worldly nature. My mind and my creativity and my sexual nature, all those things, they're all important equally. And some people haven't learned that lesson yet. And so they could reject doing this yet, and they just still have some lessons to learn. So they might be more in codependent energy, trying to get other people to love and believe in them, or make them feel more stable or grounded within themselves, instead of them realizing they need to do that within themselves. So the overarching reason for the reading is the Virgo Hermit, and after that is the Page of Cups. Do we hide from the truth? Do we hide our more authentic, loving nature from the world? Or have we learned lessons in life that we need to love our inner child nature and our hopeful, believing nature, and let it go play out in the world? That's how we're going to keep growing up and maturing ourselves, is by learning these lessons. But we can either keep not seeing the truth, that we're supposed to love ourselves. Virgo energy is about seeing the truth. We're supposed to learn to love us. We're supposed to be our own best mother, father, coach, voice to ourselves. Otherwise, like a codependent child, we're going to look outside of ourselves, just like we did when we were children with like our parents. Someone else is supposed to love me. Someone else is supposed to make me feel stable and grounded. Someone else is supposed to validate my worth and value. And some people haven't learned to do that for themselves yet. So they could still be in very codependent energy. And some people are just hiding. They're immature, and they basically want other people to, they indulge their more immature nature, and then they want other people to indulge them in their more immature nature. So, what is going on? In Leo energy, we have the Seven of Swords and the Hierophant. The Hierophant is like our philosophy of life at any given moment. And at any given moment in our life, the Seven of Swords can talk about we have things that deceive and manipulate us. And the reason it came out is because of the world. You know, we all get caught up in the world. There's all these things in the world that we want to go indulge in. And these things that we want. And, you know, at any given moment, though, we can all have different things that manipulate us. Some people are more manipulated by their mind and their fears and their insecurities. Some people are more manipulated to think they have to conform to the world, and they have all these like unwritten rules that somehow got in their head that I have to do this and not this, and I have to act like this and not act like that. Instead of high vibe energy is about being authentically yourself. How about I've learned some lessons in life, and I'm going to just treat people the way I like to be treated. And I'm going to offer people love and encouragement. And if people don't like that, then that's their choice. But I'm not going to make my life all about trying to people please everyone. I'm not going to be up in my head about, oh my gosh, should I do this and should I do that? And what do people think of me? And stuff like that. So some people have gotten out of being deceived by all these things that manipulate them. And they've looked at life from a higher perspective. That's the Seven of Swords, Aquarius energy. You know, I put life in perspective. I've looked at why I get manipulated by all these things. And I've also learned that there are some people in the world from these different workplaces, friendships, and relationships I've been in, that some people are immature. And I didn't know that when I got in a relationship with them. Some people are still more in codependent energy, and I didn't know that. I had to see the truth of it when I was immature and when I was in more codependent energy. And the whole thing is the high vibe people are willing to expand their philosophy of life. They learn these lessons. Virgo's about learning lessons. The world is about learning the lesson. And so the way I viewed life at age 15, when I'm getting closer to being an 18-year-old, I see these things I maybe need to discard and let go of because they were great when I was 15, but now that I'm going to be 18, I need to let go of my more immature ways of viewing life and viewing the world. I need to take the lessons I've learned to be more confident in myself, to believe that I can be more like an 18-year-old. And I think we are meant to go through that process throughout our life. And some people do that, you know, and they realize that in the Seven of Swords, if I keep trying to live my life a certain way, and I have this way of viewing life and myself and the world around me, and I keep not willing to learn lessons in life and heal and grow and mature myself and love myself, it keeps causing me this more and more mental conflict because I'm not going with the flow of life. I'm refusing to kind of grow up and mature myself or love myself. And then because I'm not willing to see the truth of that, I can get in relationships with people who are happy I'm in that energy and they are kind of living in life that way. And we can get in relationships, but you know, we can find out we both have healing and growing and maturing to do. And if in the middle of that relationship, one person does do this work within themselves, then it can be a problem in the relationship because, well, you're not how you used to be. And we used to like doing this. And I thought we both had whatever fears or insecurities or immature or whatever indulgent ways of being. And you're not doing that anymore. You know, again, just like when we were young, we could have hung around with people at age 18, 21, 25. We were living life a certain way. But then when we kind of look at life differently and we're ready to face our fears of kind of taking on more responsibilities and shedding some of old ways of being, there can be other people in our life who don't like it because they're still living their life that way and they wanted you to keep living your life that way. And if you're not going to, you kind of might get to the point where you don't really kind of want to hang out with them as much, and they really kind of maybe don't want to hang around you as much, And there could be some people right now that are kind of in a mismatched relationship, and both of them could have mental conflict about continuing to move forward in that relationship. But with the Aquarius and the Hierophant energy, and we're talking about Leo, we can have a hard time letting go of those things. For one thing, we could love them, I love them. And I wanted them to be in my life long term. But if we're kind of going in different directions, kind of now motivated and inspired by different things, that's difficult. And maybe we should just let everybody go their own direction, Or, the way we view relationships is different. The Hierophant can talk about relationships and marriage and how we view and how we interact with people in a relationship. And something we could have thought was kind of more just and fair in a relationship, maybe over time, we've kind of healed or grown or learned to love ourselves, that we kind of have mental conflict staying in a relationship if it doesn't change in some way. I want it to grow and mature with me. And if the people I'm in a relationship, maybe they liked me being in more codependent energy. And if I kind of learn to love myself and, Aquarius energy, again, looking at life from a higher perspective, but having hope and faith and belief that you can heal. And if you do this inner work to work through some of your fears and insecurities and self-limiting beliefs and past pain and heartbreak, your philosophy of life and how you view yourself and the world around you and relationships is all different, because you're not the same person you were 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. But there's other people we could be in a relationship with, they didn't do any of that work and they don't want anything to change. And that's when it can be a problem in a relationship. And if some people harnessed a more shadowy Taurus Hierophant energy, if their philosophy of life in their Aquarius and Taurus and worldly nature, that we should be in a relationship because we are more codependent, we want these things of the world, we want to have the stability and security and the status and this image, which are things all of us can want. And we can get in relationships, we're kind of all on the same page. I mean, one person still could have more hope and faith and belief and love and, that the relationship will grow and mature over time. The other person could be like, I don't really ever plan to do that. I always want to make these things the driving factor in the relationship. Over time, we can have a problem in a relationship because one person thought the relationship was going to grow and mature over time, and the other person thought, no, it's going to stay just like this, and we're going to keep moving forward. This is my truth. This is what's important to me. This is what drives and motivates me. When you got in it, that's what seemed to drive and motivate you, and we should keep doing that. And so they don't ever maybe incorporate more hope and faith and belief and love into their philosophy of life, and they always make it either more about them or these things of the world. So then we have the King of Swords and the King of Cups in reverse. And the Five of Pentacles is also Taurus energy. And we have this way that we like to move forward in the world. And some people like to live more from their mind than their heart, and not kind of being more balanced between their mind and their heart. High vibe energy is about being balanced, being self-aware that the most successful way to move forward is in this balanced way. If I live my life all about me, all about the world, all about these things I want to indulge in, I'm completely disregarding my more loving, intuitive, creative, inspired nature. And that is a part of us, and it's going to cause us probably, we're only operating with half a foundation. The maximum is 10 pentacles, and which is Virgo energy. In a more insightful, emotionally aware way of being, all of these aspects of ourself are important. Yes, we want these things of the world. But if we try to go about the world and these things of the world without like being just and fair and loving or nurturing ourselves and loving ourselves and disregarding our more creative, inspired, loving nature, over time, we're probably going to feel not very abundant within ourselves. And even though we could have all those things of the world, all the status, all the image, indulging in all these things that we want, we don't have love. And love is what makes it all worthwhile. But there's still some people that have yet to learn that lesson, and other people did learn that lesson. And the people in their life who they know kind of do live more from their mind than their heart, who are more motivated and inspired to either be in defensive energy, to love, being hurt. I'm going to not do love. I could get hurt doing love. I'm going to make my life about these things of the world, or being in a relationship where I can kind of control people, or they're motivated by those things too, or more about making their life about me and I don't have to love them. you know, Other people saw the truth of it, and they could have felt that those people kind of wear a false mask. They present themselves as being like, because in order to get people are being deceptive, trying to get people in a relationship with them. I'm going to try to present myself as this just and fair and stable person and this pillar of society, that I don't really want to offer love, but they probably wear a false mask of being kind of like a loving family person. And the high vibe people saw that, and they don't want to be in a relationship with someone who wears a false mask. They want to be in a relationship with someone who's more balanced, between your mind and your heart, and realizing they're all important. And, if you want to be in relationships with people that are loving and nurturing and more balanced, you should be more balanced. And some people were in those type of relationships, the kind of more worldly, shadowy people, and they didn't want to keep staying in those relationships because, for one, it challenges them to get more balanced. And if that's not their truth, they don't want to live their life like that. And so then they could have decided, I'm getting rid of the people more focused on love, and I'm going to move forward trying to get in a relationship. In the Three of Pentacles, the Lovers and the Devil and the Three of Pentacles is Capricorn energy, but people who want to work together with me in a relationship where it is the Devil kind of represents those things of the world, who are more about those things of the world secretly. That's what the Hermit can be referred to, kind of in shadow. I want to be in a relationship with someone who wants to work together with me in a relationship, either because they're more driven by these things of the world that I like to indulge in, and they like to indulge in them, and that's why they're willing to stay in a relationship with me, or for the ego, or the image, or the status, or someone who doesn't look at life from a higher perspective, who is kind of caught up in these things of the world, or someone who hasn't learned to love themselves, and they're in more maybe codependent energy, fearful energy, sad, heartbroken, whatever the Devil could represent, and they want to be in a relationship. I'm going to present myself as someone they should want to be in a relationship with. And if they kind of use their intuition in a shadowy way, if they think they can find someone who might feel left out in the cold, who maybe they think isn't more aligned with their loving, intuitive nature, that might be kind of gullible and naive, that there's even people like this in the world, then they're going to try to get that person to get in a relationship with them. And that way they can be kind of in their shadowy energy of indulging in the relationship secretly without really having to do love, and indulge in it until the people who they're in a relationship with do see the truth. And if eventually the people start to see the truth and they start to have mental conflict about it, like, so why are we in this relationship? Is it because of love? Are we going to bring justice to the situation? Is this relationship going to move forward where we kind of detach from some old ways of being and we start moving forward, but the way you seem to want to move forward is maybe living this makes practical logical sense, not really so much about love. And that's when the people that they get in relationships with eventually have to do this inner work to figure out, am I willing to stay in this relationship? I might have love for them, but do they have love for me? I also might want to stay in this relationship, because we can get caught up in these things of the world and our ego. What if we did get the Taurus Hierophant can represent a marriage, but you don't even have to get married to someone where your ego kind of gets in it, where it's like, well, gee, if I get out of this relationship, I've got to love and believe in myself, to stand up for myself. And then the Five of Pentacles could mean I need to detach from this relationship. The world, I need to end this relationship. I don't think we're on the same page. I think we're driven and motivated by different things. And I would have to be willing to quit offering love to that situation, and I'd have to, in high vibe Libra energy, stand up for my truth. And I'm maybe going to go through a period of feeling left out in the cold because I'm not in that relationship anymore. And then I'd have to do this work within myself to love myself, deal with my own fears and insecurities about moving forward in life and being in this hopeful, believing energy. And I'd have to free myself from my own fears and insecurities about not staying in a relationship that seems to have these things of the world that I want. And again, it could be someone I have love for, but we really aren't on the same page. Why they might want to be in it and why I might want to be in it are different. They also might be kind of seeming to be a little deceptive and manipulative, or a little kind of prideful or egotistical or self-centered. And if they say something's just and fair, I'm supposed to think it's just and fair, even though I don't think it's just and fair. And they could be kind of shadowy in the relationship to some degree. Bossy, controlling, immature, whatever, something I don't like, and then the devil and the Lovers card, typically like in the Rider-Waite deck, they kind of look exactly the same, except in the devil card, the people have chains on their neck. And the devil does talk about these things that limit us, restrict us, confine us, oppress us, and imprison us. High vibe energy is being free to be authentically yourself, where you feel like you can let your inner child nature out to play, that you're in relationships with other loving, nurturing people who aren't trying to take advantage of you or manipulate the love that you have for them to try to control you, and they let their loving nature out to play, and you have trust with each other. But we can all want to be in relationships. We can find ourselves in relationships where maybe initially it started out okay and then maybe something changed over time. Sometimes there's people in a relationship and they think they want to kind of indulge their more immature nature. So they could do something deceptive, and some people could be thinking about doing it right now. They're in a relationship with someone, for some of them, maybe a Taurus. And they're thinking of ending the relationship because they want to do what they think is just and fair, which could be indulging their more immature nature and not being truthful and honest, not letting love and intuition guide their decision, because for some reason they could feel left out in the cold. I'm going to detach from that relationship because the devil can mean I'm attracted to someone. I want to go indulge in a relationship with someone. For some of them, it could be a Capricorn. For other people, it's just someone. Why do they want to be in a relationship with that person? Either because they could feel the relationship they're in really isn't very loving, makes them feel left out in the cold, but they want to to maybe be in a relationship with someone who's more loving, but they could have a problem being in a relationship with someone like that because they maybe really are more worldly egoic focused. So if they're leaving kind of a more worldly egoic type relationship, I just want to go indulge in someone who's loving and authentic, and I can kind of let my more loving, authentic nature out to play with them, kind of indulge in that for a while, but then maybe hide the fact that I'm kind of being immature, and then maybe, I don't know, if it doesn't work out or they're not willing to indulge me in some way, then maybe I can go back to the relationship I was in. Some other people could be in a just and fair, authentic, loving relationship, and they're going to try to deceive those people because, in shadowy energy, they're a little bit more about themselves again. I think it's just and fair. And it kind of shows that they're not that loving of a person. And maybe if they could get in a relationship with someone who has more of these things of the world that they want, more status, more image, more money, more power, more clout, sometimes people's shadowy energy is just like an addiction. I want these things of the world because I'm sure that will make me happy. I could be in a loving relationship, but those people are more about looking at life from a higher perspective, and that's not my truth. But I don't want people to know that I'm going to leave a relationship with a loving person. So I'll try to confuse people about the truth. And I actually could even have love for those people. But the fact that I'm more driven and motivated by these things of the world, or I just want to maybe go have sex with someone, I'm going to let go of the loving people in my world, and I'm going to decide to try to go get in a relationship with someone who either I just want to have sex with, and I'm hiding I'm being immature, or they have money and materialism, and I'm also hiding that I kind of align with my more immature nature. So some people could be doing that now. And as other people are moving forward in life, have dealt with some people that they felt don't look at life from a higher perspective, don't let their more loving nature out to play in the world. Those people are getting out of those relationships or have left those relationships, and they're standing in their truth. And they're moving forward in life, and the Three of Pentacles can mean getting to know people and trying to figure out, the Virgo Hermit is trying to figure out the truth between who are the loving people and who are the more prideful, egotistical, more worldly, shadowy people. And not really, the Page of Cups can be I get to know people, I talk to people, but I don't make a bigger gesture in the King of Cups towards people until I figure out the truth. Some people are very loving people and they've learned from life experience that, I can't let myself get so emotionally invested in people and, right off the bat, I need to take the lessons I've learned in my Taurus energy, the lessons I've learned in life, be stable, be grounded, don't get caught up in illusion and kind of fantasy land, be practical, maintain balance within myself, get to know people, to get to know the truth of them, small gestures of getting to know people. And then if they seem to be someone who is on the same page as me and kind of balance more between their mind and their heart and their worldly nature and their egoic nature and their loving nature and all those good things, then they would be someone I would be willing to work with, and it will challenge me, is what the devil can talk about. Anytime we kind of get in any relationship, it's going to challenge us. Things are going to bubble up because we have so many layers and layers and layers of our more worldly, egoic, defensive, blah, blah, blah nature. Things we didn't even know we had. It's just layer after layer, a never-ending layer of our worldly, self-centered ego nature, right? And it really challenges us to grow and mature ourselves. But we want to be in relationships with those people who are being authentic and loving and that we're attracted to, is what the devil can talk about, that challenge us to do this work. Where previously, some people could have wanted to be in a relationship where they weren't in relationships that challenged them to deal with some of their own fears, insecurities, and self-limiting beliefs. And some people could have realized, it's kind of by worldly standards with the star and the Hierophant, by worldly standards in the world, it could look like I got it going on. I got everything anybody could want. But if it really doesn't, if I'm kind of living more from my mind than my heart, or I'm in relationships with people who live more from their mind than their heart, or I'm moving forward in this relationship because it makes logical, practical sense, but it doesn't seem like people are really operating from love, eventually some of those people could see the truth that, I have been ignoring my more emotionally loving, creative, inspired nature. And I'm kind of realizing, living my life like this, I thought that was going to be everything I would want, but I feel like I'm missing out on so much. I only kind of have really these things of the world. And I'm willing to let go from the 5 down to the 3 of Pentacles. I'm willing to quit just trying to maintain balance within myself about the fact that I was kind of living more from my mind than my heart. And I'm going to let that go. And I am going to start working with my more loving, hopeful, believing nature and face my fears and insecurities and invest in people who do challenge me to grow and mature myself. And where I could have the best of both worlds, the devil can represent, we have these things of the world. We're working to have stability and security and enjoy some of the finer things in life, but we're also attracted to each other and passion and that stuff. But there's also love. It's not like just being in a relationship with someone that you're in a relationship with to have those things in the world and you have sex with them. It's someone I am attracted to and someone who challenges me to love and believe in myself and grow to my full potential and be more authentically myself in the world. And for some people, they could be getting out of a relationship and, they don't know if there is someone else they think they would like to be in a relationship. They don't know if that's going to work out or not. And it's maybe not the driving factor. So it could be not really quite telling people the truth that I think there's someone who might be more on the same page as me. Because if you're truthful and honest about how you feel in the relationship, that I don't think we're moving forward in a balanced way. I think I'm trying, I've been trying to offer love and encouragement, and it seems like you're a little bit more controlling or ego or materialistically based. And, we're truthful and honest about that because the Page of Cups could be about offering people kind of the truth, and the King of Swords is talking about the truth. But we don't have to tell everybody, oh, by the way, I think there might be somebody else that might be on the same page, because probably everybody's hoping there is someone that is more on the same page as them. But that could not necessarily be the reason why they're getting out of it. So I would think the 7 of Swords in that case could be, everybody don't need to know my business. But I am going to tell my truth about why I don't want to keep moving forward in the relationship I'm in for some people. So there's high vibe people moving forward. You could be attractive to other people. There could be other people who would like to be in a relationship with you. But some of those people know I'm not willing to do love, so they're just going to watch you move forward in your life. Other people are working through their own philosophy of life and, really getting more balance within themselves to detach from a more worldly, egoic, or kind of thinking they could just wear a false mask and realizing they can't wear a false mask with you, that they're going to have to be authentic, and some of those people will. But regardless, the high vibe people are standing in their truth, maintaining balance within themselves, doing this inner work within themselves, moving forward in their life, and kind of staying in that energy of, if people heal and grow and mature themselves and want to do this type of relationship, let me know. In the meantime, I wish you peace, and I'm going to keep moving forward in my life. What's coming up for the people who harness some high vibe Leo energy that they might not see coming up? Oh, I really think these two are together. The Two of Pentacles and the Seven of Swords, because of the Two of Pentacles. The Two of Pentacles is Capricorn energy, and again, shadowy Capricorn energy is the devil. I look at high vibe Capricorn as you freed yourself from things that manipulated you. You freed yourself from people who were in kind of shadowy energy, and you've picked up your investment in that old thing, and now you're maintaining balance within yourself, and you keep in harnessing high vibe Seven of Swords energy to hold on to your dreams and listen to your intuition to guide you. Why? Because other people did juggle. Other people aren't willing to pick a path. Some people want to be in relationships with people, but I don't really want to have to invest in you emotionally, like authentically. I want to present myself as like I'm this loving family person and that I'm this just and fair person, but I really do align with living more from my mind than my heart and maybe my defensive nature. And you're done with people who juggle. If they're not balanced and kind of seeing the truth, that it's a balance between the two. And if you want to be in a relationship, you need to maintain balance within yourself to be in a relationship with other balanced people. We've all got our fears and our insecurities. Do they like being in a relationship with someone who's defensive and not very loving and nurturing authentically, who just uses their emotions and their sexuality and their traits and their unique qualities or assets to try to manipulate people to keep them in a relationship? Well, if they don't mind that, they should go get in a relationship with someone who's like that also. But if they want to be in a relationship with people who are more balanced within themselves, who do have hope and faith and belief in love, then they need to be in that energy. And some people harness that energy in a shadowy way. They want it to be like two-faced. I want to present myself like I'm this pillar of society, this just and fair and like insightful, loving person, but that's not really the truth of who I am. And you could feel like they've got a lot of emotionally maturing to do, which if they never let their more authentic emotional nature out to play, yeah, emotionally they could be quite immature. And all of that was to help you get clear about what your truth was and wasn't. Were you willing to settle for the more of the worldly things at the expense of love? And you weren't. You were willing to get rid of people who wore a false mask because you're not willing to settle for the illusion. And you're willing to face your fears about detaching from them to keep believing in your dreams. I would rather enjoy my time with friends and family and my job and my career than be in a relationship with someone where it's kind of more about creating an illusion and it's not really based on love. I don't want to be in a relationship with you then. You will just be another friend I know, an acquaintance. And I want to be free. I view high vibe Capricorn in a way as being free. I want to be free to get in a relationship if someone comes along who I am attracted to. And for some people, they did get in a relationship, maybe because they felt left out in the cold, maybe even a relationship with someone they don't love. And then they had people who appeared in their life that they secretly would like to be in a relationship with, but because they got themselves maybe in a relationship they really shouldn't have, now, they have this debate within themselves like, gee, I'd really kind of like to leave this, but I've created this illusion about how this is my truth and how wonderful and everything is, and then we can hide the truth because we're afraid of people judging us. We'd have to admit that, maybe when I got in this relationship, I'm a fallible human being. There wasn't somebody around that I thought was on the right page as me, and I kind of could have had problems even at the beginning getting into this relationship. But I had that hope and faith and belief it would work, but it hasn't changed, and now am I willing? Virgo Hermit sees the truth, and then people have to speak the truth. And then the Five of Pentacles is detaching from a Four of Pentacles, a foundation we were holding on to let go of it, and we have to speak our truth. And there's going to be some people who are not willing to do that. And they could stay in a relationship that isn't on the same page as them, at least not anymore. And the people that they could end up staying in a relationship could be happy these people aren't speaking the truth, because then they get to indulge in a relationship with them for whatever reasons they want to be in a relationship with them. Because these people aren't willing to speak their truth. It's like the devil wins. Look, I got these people who won't get out of this relationship, even though it's not aligned with their truth. It's kind of like I have their more creative, inspired, authentic nature from the divine trapped in this relationship. God wants us to be free, living our truth. So, what's coming up for the more shadowy people or worldly people that they might not see coming? The Ten of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles, the Two of Wands, the Nine of Swords, the Emperor, the Knight of Cups, because of the Knight of Pentacles. Well, if there's people right now kind of being shadowy in some situation, workplace, friendship, or relationship, what they don't see coming is that eventually people work through their own inner conflict about, why would I keep staying in this relationship? And they work through it. And from the Seven of Swords to the One Sword, it's about the Six of Swords. How do I want to keep moving forward in life? What is my dream? Do these people want to move forward the same way I do? Is their dream the same as my dream? Do I want to keep moving forward with people that I feel make me feel left out in the cold, or that I think are stubborn or bossy or controlling or deceptive or manipulative or immature? Why would I be tempted to keep staying in that? And then we got to deal with our own truth. We all can be tempted to want to stay. I'm attracted to them. I love them. But if I feel like they're manipulating the love I have for them, that's not just and fair. That's not loving. If they have these shadowy traits and characteristics, why do I stay in a relationship with someone like that? And they have to do all this work within themselves to get more balanced between their loving nature and their worldly nature. And eventually those people do get more balance within themselves. They do have hope and faith and belief in their dreams. And eventually they did this work within their own foundation to become more independent of it and deal with the truth of it and invest in believing in their dreams. And even though they could be kind of stressed about kind of taking some more bold, brave, confident action in their life, they love themselves. And, we got this one life to live. I want to go invest in what's aligned with my truth. And the way I was living my life, maybe at one time I thought that was living the dream. I don't anymore. And if I offered love and encouragement to the people in my life to work together with me in that way and energy, and they don't want to, then I wish them peace. They can live their life the way they want. If they want to keep still making their life more about ego or image or indulgence or themselves and living more from their mind than their heart, they have the free will to keep living their life like that. And maybe at one time I did too. But the Emperor is about having learned these lessons on all four suits of the deck. My heart, my mind, my worldly nature, my passionate nature. Where before, maybe they were learning a lesson of letting their more worldly nature or living more from their mind than their heart. They still had lessons to learn. And so they got in relationships with people who they could have had maybe a lot of things in common with, but the other people just weren't willing or aren't ready yet to want to deal with the truth. and get out of their head or believe in love, and the other people are ready. So eventually those people are going to move on, and some of them are doing it right now. And some of the more worldly, shadowy people didn't see that coming. Because again, it has all these things that by worldly standards look like you should want it. And like you got your dream. Everything that people could want. But it's like there's something kind of unhealthy about it, where people aren't being more in that playful, loving way of being, an authentic way of being. And it could be kind of more like creating an illusion of how wonderful it is, and realizing that doesn't make you happy. And so they'll be surprised about that. Some people have already left and they're making an offer. They're either focusing on their career or they're making an offer to other people who they think are more on the same page as them. And if some of the people they made an offer to, those people are stressed about moving forward, they're just going to keep moving forward. Okay. You know, I'm looking to find the people who are on the same page as me. And sometimes when people are kind of shadowy in a relationship, I don't want to be just and fair. I don't like you loving and believing in yourself. I don't want to do a more authentic relationship. I want you to let me manipulate and control you. If they see that people are doing this work within themselves, you know, first they might be kind of do some deceptive and manipulative things in a relationship. Then they can kind of become more controlling. Then they could pay more attention to other people in their life to make you feel left out in the cold, try to get you up in your ego or your competitive nature. And it's like playing all these games, and eventually people have to wonder, why in the hell do I stay in this relationship? And eventually they're not willing to stay in it anymore. There's some people who will, you know, but other people don't want to stay in it. But some people right now aren't seeing the truth about the people that they're in a relationship. And if they're really in a mismatched relationship, if one person's maintaining more balance and loving and encouraging and trying to move a relationship forward, what they probably don't realize is that the other person, if they're not that type of person, they really don't want to be in a relationship like that. They might keep trying to pretend that that is the type of person they are, but maybe more out of their fear and codependency or because of the ego or the image or the status. But eventually, they're probably, you know, if that's not the truth of who they are, it's just who wants to kind of live a fake life. And they want to go live their authentic life that is maybe more worldly or shadowy, being less just and fair, not having to temper their ego. And eventually they're probably going to end the relationship to go find someone who lives life the way they want to live it. And they would be more likely to do something to try to get the relationship to end because they're not able to temper themselves and maintain better balance within themselves because it's not authentically who they are. The loving, more balanced people can put up with more shit in a relationship in a way because they're able to maintain balance within themselves. But the other people haven't learned those lessons in a way. And so eventually they could do something that will end the relationship. And then the loving people can no longer like stay in denial of the truth. I could love you. I could have wanted this to move forward, but that's like a deal breaker. And I can't stay in it anymore. It's kind of like I can't deny the truth that this isn't really, you're not in the relationship for love. And you've kind of shown that that's not really what drives and motivates you. Or you just do have a lot of fears and insecurities and you're kind of bossy and controlling to such an extent I need to leave. Anyway, we'll leave it there. High vibe people want to be in relationships with other high vibe people who are balanced and free from these things that manipulate them. And the shadowy people probably want to be in, and worldly people probably want to be in relationships with people who are more on the same page as them. If people are in relationships right now, they could be getting out of those relationships to try to get in relationships with the people who they think are more on the same page as them. So there you go, Leo energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.